what do many young people have dairy and egg allergies nowadays? I know 60-year-olds who can drink a glass of milk without issue, but every 25 in the city only drinks nut milks. LOL, probably because they're just drinking nut milks and that crap and all that. Pretty much, they've actually fucked up their enteric system. They've really stuffed up their gut. Simple as that. They've got poor signaling between the body and all that. They've got through their enteric system, so they've got poor immuno signaling between the brain and the gut. They've basically stuffed up their gut with a whole lot of glyphosate and antibiotics. Most of the people that are 60 years old or over, many of these people still have got robust, very good guts compared to people that are much younger. People that are much younger, like the Pottinger's cat sort of thing, Spencer, that are basically, the next generation is a bit more deranged in terms of certain genes are turned on that should be silenced. Now, you can turn those genes off. How do you turn those genes? You need to get up above 80 nanograms per milliliter. If you don't get to those levels, which is a therapeutic where all the genes can be affected by vitamin D, only at those levels can you basically start turning off some of these genes. Also, tighten all the junctions throughout the whole body so no allergens can get in. And the other thing is to regulate the immune system much better to downregulate these allergens. The other thing is combining it with a species appropriate diet, getting in some meat and getting in the B vitamins with the vitamin D can actually restore some of those beneficial bacteria. A lot of these old people that can do this sort of stuff tend to go outdoors. They don't stay indoors playing computer games. They've got a better vitamin D status than many young people in some cases. When I come across people like that, and they are far more robust because they've done less damage over time compared to young people that are into the sugar from the moment they're born. That's why they're so sick and deranged and have so many gut issues and all that. And a lot of fiber. Young people, old people don't like fiber. If you notice, old people basically will eat tubers. They'll eat, like people used to eat 60, 70 years ago and are more physically active and all that. But nowadays, people are eating far more, inappropriate processed foods or a lot of fiber crap. And all that is affecting their gut negatively, both from the fiber, from the glyphosate, and from the excess antibiotics that they've taken. And also, a lot of them are born, not having, sort of being going through the birth canal and actually being dosed with all these lactobacillus. Also, their mothers tend to be much lower in the lactobacillus strains. So something like 90% now of two key, like Reuteri and Bifidobacteria infantis, it actually clears out all the gut, a lot of the pathogenic bacteria that eliminates them, clears them out of the gut. Most people, a large proportion of people don't have them, and pretty much nearly every young person doesn't. So they've got plenty of gut problems, and they don't have a number of these lactobacillus strains to deal with the sugar from the milk either. So they've got a lot of issues, derangements, and that's why. So usually people, when they do, like Richard did kefir, and even my brother Sean, he did a long period of kefir, and basically normalized his ability to drink milk again. So, I've got lactose persistent genes, so it doesn't really matter whether I've got all those. I've got the ability the enzymes to deal with it. But other people don't have as many of the enzymes, and so really need the bacteria as well. So if you actually don't, you're going to have the problems. So especially if you've got the genes that turned off in old age. So, and there's a large proportion of the population that does. So if you don't have then the bacterial strains, you're going to get into trouble with a lot of these sort of things. So, and also the very low vitamin D status. A lot of young people now don't get enough cholesterol. They don't basically, they're indoors most of the time compared to the past, playing computer games or on their screens all the time. All these have an effect as well. So, yeah, and they will have, and the light signaling, blue light, too much blue light, and all that. That has a negative effect on the gut microbiome as well. It actually advantages certain pathogenic bacteria. So there's a lot of things that we do wrong as young people, or young people do. That's why they have more of these allergies and issues. And the Pottinger cat sort of syndrome as well, more damage compared to the previous generation. Yeah, that's part of it. And on top of that, then they start drinking this sort of shit. Nut milk. It's not, no, it's nut. It's basically a nut juice full of oxalate and shit. That's really bad for the gut. Even worse than basically eating green leafy vegetables. These sort of nut, milks and stuff like that are far more damaging to the gut lining and stuff like that. Talk about young people giving themselves even more hassle in the future. They'll all end up basically having their colons cut out because of the damage that they're going to cause. Freaking hell.